What's good, sports gamers? And today I'll be going over with you my defensive settings that I've been playing around with to help you get your AI defense how you want it. So now let's get to it.
Sports Gamers Online is the #1 source for the sports gamer.
To start off, in the menu you want to go to Game Plan, then Coaching Settings, and turn off Adaptive Coaching Engine, as we're going to be doing the settings on our own here. Then back out and go to Defensive Settings, and from here you start with the Global Settings, which has you tell the coach how you want the team to defend everybody. And hitting R2 or RT cycles through individual players so you can change them specifically. To start, for on-ball pressure, this only comes into play if you play off-ball defense, which if you are, you should check out our on-ball defensive tutorial, link in the description. And if you have already and you still play off-ball, shame. But besides that, I like to set everybody to moderate, say not too far or too close as your base. And then only change the settings for the catch and shoot guys and the perimeter players you know that will have the ball in their hands a lot. Then for the jump shot challenge guys like John Wall, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Ben Simmons, you want to make them beat you with the jumpers, right? So you set theirs to gap, which also puts you in a better position to defend their drive into the paint and hope their contact layup or dunk misses. As for guys that are threats from deep like Redick, Durant, or Steph, you obviously want to take away any chance they have of hurting you from deep, so you want to be in their grip. But not all jump shooters are created equal. Steph Curry and Redick are two of the top 5 shooters in the league currently, but once Redick starts to dribble, he might as well be Nick Stauskas, while Curry can slide right by you and do that weird layup where the ball seems to float in the air. Basically, he has a counter to tight coverage. So for Redick, Kyle Korver types, you want to set it to smother, so you're all in their face and force the ball out of their hand or make them dribble. And for the Currys, Durants, who could beat you off the dribble, I set it to tight. So I'm not giving up crazy space, but not making the drive way easy for them either. For off-ball pressure, there are 5 settings given to us to play with, but we want to work it so we give sufficient help defense if somebody attacks the paint. So putting everybody on tight and smother will be reserved for the special few of each team. So as a base, you want to set everybody to moderate, and each guy we set to moderate will be able to help off their guy, but still be close enough to defend the shot by their matchup. Then like with on ball, we're going to go in and individually change certain guys, so you want to set it up so you're blocking your opponent's most dangerous options from deep and in a way funneling the ball to their lesser shooters. So a guy like Klay Thompson, who I absolutely do not want to shoot the ball, you want to set it to smother, but be like, here, Draymond Green's open over there, you should pass it to him. Then for the good, not great shooters, so that's low to mid 80s, I set it to tight. But if, let's say, Jaylen Brown drops 30 going 8 for 12 from 3, I can live with that. Anybody can get high. But Tatum, whose 3-point rating I think is in the 90s now, I'm trying to erase him from the game completely. Now for guys who can't shoot, you have 2 settings, gap and leave him. Gap for me is for the guys who are parked around the perimeter that you know who can't shoot, which usually would be like the stretch 4s who really stretch nothing, or Andre Roberson. You see in this clip, Draymond Green straight up acts like Aminu isn't even there and decides to slide down into the paint to be prepared for the more dangerous threats. But this one is the most important. If your opponent's center can't shoot, set their off-ball pressure to leave him, which means you're going to do this for like 95% of the centers in the league. This is important because you don't ever want your opponent to get away with somebody like Zaza Pachulia parked around the 3-point line and your player actually respecting it. So you want to make it harder for them to get away with having a big who can't shoot if he's not a threat in the post. I use Wiggins here as an example, even though he has an okay shot. You see Covington just ignores him to go down in the post to help Redick on Butler. And it also helps them down low having the setting on leave him because it allows our defender guarding the center to be super aggressive in his help defense on drives, forcing whoever is driving to pass it up or prepare for a collision at the basket. For force direction, this only affects your opponent if you're playing off ball, and with this you always want to funnel everything baseline, as it's way tougher on the defense to defend somebody going towards the middle, so you want to keep them away from that. Next, I'm going to combine on-ball screen and on-ball screen with the center together. The reason though that centers have their own separate tabs is because a lot of centers are slow as dirt, so you want their own settings to how your opponent smartly put them in a bunch of pick and roll situations. opposed to the much faster point, shooting guard, small forward, and on most teams, power forward. You see, with the Warriors, I try to run a screen to expose Zaza, and he drops back because he's like 20 speed. But then I involve Draymond Green and they switch because the Warriors have two different sets for their center and their 1 through 4 positions. But for the on-ball defender, it's not going to affect him much who's involved specifically because I have him react the same way to both. By default, I prefer him to go over, or you simply going over the screen yourself to take away or try to open jumper and rely on the other defenders to worry about the drive. More on that in a bit. So anybody who doesn't have a broken jumper, I have them fight over the screen at all costs. Then against those who struggle to shoot, and you know the only reason they're using it is to drive, for which then you set theirs to under to meet them on the other side. So if you're already sagging off of Westbrook with your on-ball pressure, when the screen comes, you should already be deep enough to come out the other side without giving up much ground. You want your on-ball pressure and how you fight through screens to match. Now for hedge defense, which is for the defenders who's guarding the guy throwing the screen, you can have two completely different settings for your center and the other 4 players, depending on, like in the Warriors example, your center is Zaza Pachulia. No hedge has the hedge defender drop straight in the lane, ignoring the pick and roll to defend the drive as a way of not letting them get exposed in space. So the ball handler has to come to him. Brett Brown for the Sixers did this a lot with Okafor, I remember. But you're obviously putting a lot of the pressure on the on-ball defender to not give up the mid-range jumper playing like this. Soft and hard hedge has the defender coming around the screen to bother the ball handler to different degrees. Soft, he pops out very briefly to slow down the ball handler before returning, while hard, he's out there for a good bit to give the on-ball defender time to recover. Double you don't want to touch at all. While catch hedge will give you the positives of no hedge, while having a defender be very aware of the screener roll into the basket. So if you have a Nerlens Noel, Willie Cauley-Stein type, this is perfect as it puts them in space to defend the 2 options, however briefly, and use their mobility to their advantage. So I would recommend catch hedge for everybody as the defender will at least be aware of the roller as well. As there's really no reason to pick any of the others because soft and hard hedge leaves you open to slip screens all day if your opponent knows what he's doing. And that's not cool. And catch hedge is an upgraded version of no hedge anyway. But let's say the screener is somebody who can pick and pop like Kevin Love. He'll destroy you playing catch hedge. So this is where stay attached comes in handy. By default, you want to set it to no, and then manually set the pick and pop threats to yes. But since the defender basically ignores the screen and sticks to the screener, it's all on the on-ball defender and the help defense to stop the ball handler. And I'll go over how in another setting how that will be possible. For all-ball screens, I go under every one unless they have a great shooter, for which I'll then go over. You see here, Butler gives JJ Redick no room to operate by going over every screen possible. For post, remember you want to force everything baseline, so behind or 3-4 tops is great. 3-4 tops is aligned to force baseline, but he ends up aligning regularly once the player catches it, which is why either of the two is fine. For double team perimeter and post, leave these on manual so there's no funny business at the wrong time. For switch rules, this affects screens that happens off ball. Switch all only works if you're like the Warriors with Draymond at the 5, or sadly the Celtics. Very few teams can pull that off without giving up a huge mismatch somewhere. Switch bigs could work if you have 2 decent defenders down low. And switch guards if you don't have an obvious matchup you want to keep, like you always want in Kawhi Leonard on LeBron James. This setting is really up to you and who's your worst defender. Pre-rotate, I'll leave this off. This is when you want to load one side of the floor with defenders to defend a player, but this isn't necessary. And as for screen help rules and drive help rules, you set both to help and no rotation. Basically because you never want no help, and auto I don't trust. Help and no rotation keeps it simple by sending whoever you don't have on tight or deny ball in for help and leaves the other guys on their assignments. So you're not wondering why JJ Redick somehow ended up on DeMarcus Cousins, or there's a wide open kick out 3-pointer somewhere that you didn't want. But like I mentioned, if you have somebody on leave him, he will be the first one running into the paint. I think that totally puts the whole defense together and has me not questioning the dumb mistakes I see the computer make on my behalf as much anymore. And I hope you can take these settings or the other settings I went over and have them work for you. Sorry Sports Gamers, hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned here at Sports Gamers Online for more NBA 2K18 content. So subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss anything we put out. I'm Chris. Thank y'all for watching and be good, y'all.
In the bando a long, long time. Need to get the lamb